okay. I'm just sorry that it took so long last time. I'm free at the moment. It's not a big deal. I haven't got an awful lot on. I'm just writing my novel. You know. Hello.
Hello. Hey.
Hey. Are we all? Can you hear me?
I can. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me make sure the record is on.
Yes. Yes, please make sure the recording is on.
Oh my God.
Imagine if it happens again.
I was telling him we were absolutely mortified, and
You were absolutely mortified. I was like beyond words. I scoured 2 laptops for hours looking, and I'm putting in like every word that I could think of on that was in the title. The I could find was that first few minutes, kind of like what you guys probably just had just now, and that was it. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
Wow.
You know,
well, it's absolutely fine from my perspective. I was just saying these things happened. I've had worse things happen to me. I froze on national TV in the UK once, prime time. This is back in 1984 with Ian Brody. We were being interviewed live, and it's never happened to me before or since, but I just froze on live breakfast TV, you know, the biggest viewing figures of the kind of, oh God, yeah. It happens.
Oh my gosh. Was it just the idea, you know, because I've heard that, you know, like where you're on camera and you're like,
yeah, I don't know. It was very odd. I just couldn't speak. So the hosts were really good. They covered it, and then they talked to Ian Brody for like half an hour, and then they came back to me because they thought, I'll have to ask him. He's sitting here, you know, and I did it again.
Oh no!
Yeah, I think they thought I'd had a stroke or something.
That could have been your cover story. There we go. Yep, Paul Simpson had a stroke. It'll be all over the papers.
Yeah, so I'm au fait with mortification, you know.
So I guess in the large scheme of things, then that wasn't too bad. Anyway, thank you. So totally appreciate you, both of you guys, putting time aside again. And Ducky, I'm really glad that you were able to be here with us the second time.
Oh, I would not have missed this for the world. I called my boss again. I said, hey, I'm going to need another hour off of work because, you know, priorities here.
Right.
Wow.
I'm glad that you've got your priorities straight.
Oh, yeah, I do. I'm straight. Yeah.
So with that being said, Mr. Simpson, then I need to ask, can we please do a couple plugs again real quick? I'm so sorry.
Oh, yes. That's all right. I've forgotten the identity.
That's okay. So they're listening to us on the Grooves, or on they're listening to us on X-Vibe Radio. X-Vibe Radio. Yeah.
Okay. Should we do that one first?
Whichever one how about whatever you want to do.
Okay. Are you recording?
We are. I got you know what? Yes.
You checked, right?
We're recording. Checked. Okay, thank God.
Okay.
Hi, this is Paul Simpson from the Wild Swans, Liverpool, England. You're listening to X-Vibe Radio. Why would you go anywhere else?
Why exactly? Awesome, cool. Okay, and then the second one is they're watching us on the Groove Zone.
Okay.
Just the Groove Zone. Yep.
Hi, this is Paul Simpson of the Wild Swans. From Liverpool, England. But I'm speaking to you from Dublin. You're listening to the Groove Zone. You're watching. Do it again.
That's okay. That's all right.
This is Paul Simpson of the Wild Swans from Liverpool, England. You're watching the Groove Zone. Of course you are. There's nothing else to compare, really, is there?
That's right. Rock and roll. Paching. Hey guys, guess what? You are watching the Groove Zone on it's our KONVOS show, and also listening to us on X-Vibe Radio. I'm DJ D Phoenix, coming to you out of Western Washington today. And with me, I am really glad I've got my buddy from Seattle, Washington, DJ Ducky. Hello. And also, we are both totally stoked because we get a chance to hang out for a little bit this morning with one of our favorites. This is from the Wild Swans and CARE. We're hanging out today with Paul Simpson. Paul, hello.
Hi, how are you? Good morning.
Well, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you. What time is it there? It's like it's
It's 5 p.m. I'm speaking to you from Dublin in Ireland, and it's just the light starting to fail. It'll go dark in about half an hour's time.
Okay. Have you guys had any snow at all yet?
No, we haven't had any this winter, but I was in Glasgow a couple of weeks ago, which is where I actually live full time, and it was snowing as I was on my way to the airport, quite heavily. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dublin's a little bit south of Glasgow, so it's always several degrees colder there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know about anybody else, but it's like, it is so nice to look at in a picture, like an image or whatever, the snow piling up and all that. But if you have to drive in it, though, forget it. Like, because where we're at, we're way out. I'm like 45 minutes outside of the capital city here in Washington, and we're out at the base of the Olympic Peninsula. So it's like trees and like wilderness for like ever. And I'll tell you, those roads. So, oh yeah, I sound like my grandparents sometimes. Anyway,
but at least you guys are prepared for it. You have your snow chains and your snow plows and all that. In the UK and in Ireland, if you get extreme weather, no one's prepared at all. They put some salt down on the roads, but that's it.
That's all you get, huh? A little salt.
Yeah.
Little bit of pepper would be a nice thing too. So
yeah.
Okay, so while my phone goes off the hook, let's just keep this going right away. I'm gonna shoot this thing. Hang on just a moment. I can't get this thing far enough away. And I'll hang on. Hi, can you call me back like in about an hour or two? That would be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, put it on vibrate.
I don't even know who it was. So there we go.
What if it was Steven Spielberg inviting you to soundtrack his next movie?
There you go.
You've blown it.
It's probably the delivery guy with that, big oversized check. Your door with, and Ed McMahon.
It was the call from the lot to tell you you've won the lottery.
Wouldn't that? Oh my gosh, that would be something. But you know what? The lottery that I won is being able to hang out with Paul Simpson today. So there we go.
You silver-tongued devil.
I'll tell you. I'll segue into whatever it takes to save my butt. Ducky, I know that you probably have some questions just burning up in your mind. Anything that you'd like to bounce off, Paul, while we're hanging?
Let's see. So, well, I know that my personal favorite of your work is the Bringing Home the Ashes album, because that's how I discovered you guys, and that's what really speaks to me the most. I just think that's a brilliant collection and cohesive collection of songs that delivers a consistent mood, and it just really speaks to me on multiple levels. And I've listened to it a bazillion times, and especially Bible Dreams.
Yeah.
And, which is probably the most popular one. I know, which is maybe kind of lame, but I don't know. But that whole album, I just love that whole album. And I was wondering, what is your personal favorite of the work that you have done? Favorite album, favorite song, what have you?
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So the band, the Wild Swans, which has been my life's work, really. I started in TEARDROP EXPLODES. And I worked with Ian Brody in a band called CARE, as you know, for a year. But the Wild Swans has been my kind of life's work. And so far, there's been 3 incarnations of the Wild Swans, separated by a few years in between. But the one closest to my heart is the first, when we were 18, 19 years old and naive and innocent, and we really hadn't been corrupted by the industry, or we hadn't been exposed to any influences outside of ourselves, really. It was a band formed from a friendship of 3 people, and as such, there's a kind of, most bands' greatest work is usually the first single, the first album. Right. Not always, but even if it's not their best, it's always potent, because it tends to be unpolluted, uncorrupted by
Right.
by outside influences, you know. So, and likewise, so the first Wild Swans single, Revolutionary Spirit, which was very unusual for the time, it's quite epic, really. It's everything radio hates, so it fades in and takes about a minute to do so.
Yeah,
no fade-ins.
It was accidentally recorded in mono.
Yeah.
You can't hear the bass, you know, but it sort of captured. Well, as Bill Drummond, the guy who kind of who put the record out, and who went on to form the KLF, said it captures that young man's idealistic vision thing kind of better than anyone else did. You know, that sort of striving to reach beyond one's grasp thing, a vision over ability. You know, it's what makes Love Will Tear Us Apart by Joy Division so seminal, in that the guys can't play that well, but the ambition for the thing is huge conceptually. So that's my favorite period, that first band. I'm less keen on the middle period, the second incarnation, which was actually the one where we signed to Seymour Stein for 2 albums. But only I'm warming to it. It was such a bad experience for me. It wasn't a very happy time for me in my life. So I think I can't hear it with the ears. Someone else can. And then I came back. I didn't really reform the Wild Swans in 2009 because I was the last man standing. I put a band together under that name to support me, to help manifest it. And that was like, I went back to the original blueprint that had been lost slightly in the middle period. So that was an album called The Coldest Winter for 100 Years. And it was almost sort of documenting the Wild Swan story lyrically, because it was unfinished business for me. And I think I actually went back in the studio just before lockdown in 2020 when COVID hit, and just before that, the month before, and recorded a new Wild Swans album that hasn't appeared yet, and that was called Lucifer's Childhood, and I never got the vocals finished. And then when I went back a year later to and phoned the studio to book time, it had been sold. The studio had gone. So I don't know actually. I'm not quite sure where the masters are. I could probably make 5-6 phone calls and locate them, but I'm not really. It's 5 years ago now, and those songs don't really represent where I'm at right now. So I quite like this thing about me and the Wild Swans, that there's huge gaps between everything I do. They can be a decade long sometimes.
Right.
And Wild Swans fans kind of know that, and they accept it now. They don't hassle with it, you know. They're just pleased when something appears.
Right.
And I'm the world's worst kind of rock and roll. You know, I'm the world's worst artist, really, because I just don't. I honestly, I have. It's not like I don't. I'm very creative, and it's not like I'm doing nothing else in between. I'm not sitting on my backside. I'm writing or I'm making artworks and things, and they're all way the same to me. They're all valid. And of course, the new. Sorry, this is turning into an epic answer. Is that okay? Okay. So something else has changed since COVID. There's a kind of what I call a sort of pixelation of culture. So we've entered a new period, and it might take me a second to kind of make my point, but there's a thing happening now which I can't remember who coined it. There's a term called liquid modernity. And that's exactly what period we're in now, where all the old paradigm has gone. So we're getting old fossils like myself have a tendency to dig their heels into the ground because they don't like what's happening with gender politics, and they're just not recognizing the world they knew. So record labels now, they don't listen to demo tapes anymore. They go on Instagram and TikTok and see who's got the most followers, and then they sign them. I mean, that's a reality now. It just is.
Really?
The music is secondary. Yeah.
Well, that's obvious, though, Paul. I mean, seriously.
Yeah. But rather than kind of getting upset about it, we have to kind of, we have to be like stones in a Japanese sort of Zen garden stream and let it go around us, not get upset about it, because the world's changing. Music hall used to be a big thing in the UK and a little bit in America, before the movie industry.
Yeah,
there was superstars of Victorian music hall, sort of also cabaret acts, really. And that's what, they were massive, they were hugely famous.
Oh, yeah.
But the minute silent movies came out, that was all forgotten. And music talkies came out, silent film stars were forgotten. And it's just going to happen. And we've got to bend with it. And I'm not pessimistic, I'm optimistic. And I think there will be, possibly after I'm gone, but like, how come there's no new sports? I mean, the newest sport we've got is probably snowboarding or something like that. But we've got no new major sports. Like, where's anti-grav ball? We're slow to kind of let go of the past. And sorry, I've gone completely off.
No, you got me thinking, because I'm like, what was the last sport that we created? But now that you say that, I remember, I'm not a big Olympics fan, but I've got to admit, though, especially when I was younger, I loved the grandiose, like, over-the-top productions, and how they could get that many people all in sync together, from all around. I just was totally amazed. But it when you said that, though, it dawned on me. It's like, I remember watching a number of Olympics on the years where there was a new sport introduced, and it's like, oh wow, this kind of thing I wouldn't have ever expected to become a sport. It's like, okay. So hang on, because there's probably a new one right around the corner. If not the next Olympics, and in 2028 they'll have a couple of
I mean, some we'll always have cinema or a version of it. It might be holographic, and we're moving in between the actors. Pessimistically, they'll probably all be AI generated. No one's getting paid. Drawn from 100 years of cinema movie idols, some composite. But it's going to happen whether we like it or not. It's already happening. It's like the military, although we're told, they would never abuse AI. And all. Of course, they're doing it already,
Saying the military
it's all about
anything is,
They
will absolutely abuse it if it exists.
Yeah. But I've forgotten what the original question was.
I think the original question that I asked was what was your favorite of your work, which is your.
I'm sorry to your viewers and listeners.
Areas, which is what we're here for. I would like to go back to your early stuff. I hadn't. All I had heard, I think, of your early stuff a while ago was the stuff that was on the Zoo Records compilation, and it had Revolutionary Spirit and God Forbid, I think, and then a couple other things. I thought when Incandescent came out, I mean, that was a little gold mine there. And then there was a remix of Revolutionary Spirit in stereo by the Talking Heads guy.
Yeah, that was one of the few battles I actually won against the man. Yeah, so Peter Freitas, the drummer of Echo and the Bunnymen, was also my flatmate at the time. Pete died as in a motorcycle accident decades ago now. But he put up his own money. The first money first royalties he got from the Bunnymen. He said, "Well, he loved the Wild Swans. He said, I'll put you in the studio." So he produced that record, but he also drummed on it weirdly, because our drummer, when we knocked for our drummer that morning to go in the studio, he didn't come out of his room. He was in there, but he refused to come out. Never. I still don't know why 35 years later.
Last minute stage fright.
Yeah, but consequently, we had Pete Freitas at the height of his kind of powers playing on it, giving it such great dynamics and stuff. And so but a bit like we had a little bit of a problem with recording this a few days ago and came back to it. We discovered when we got out of the studio that it had accidentally been recorded in mono. Yeah. So we had an acetate cut of it, and myself, Bill Drummond, and Dave Ball from Zoo Records, Pete DeFreitas, all sat around listening to it, and they were concerned. I thought it was great. I said, I don't care if it's in mono. It's not like it's going to get played on the radio anyway. Yeah. So, but Pete was off to America with the Bunnymen. So he said, well, listen, I'll take it into the studio and we'll try we can't really make it stereo again, but we can do a sort of faux stereo. Yeah. So I don't know how, all I remember, it was Talking Heads studio, Talking Heads engineer. And so we then got another acetate cut, and we listened to them back to back. So the American, or the US mix, which is the sort of pan to simulate stereo, is very clean. You can hear all the acoustic guitars and the sort of tambourines and things you couldn't hear on the mono version. But it lacked something. It was lacking some dynamism. It was lacking some mythic quality. And so we had a kind of argument between us all. So Dave Balfe, Bill Drummond's very open-minded. Dave Balfe's quite close-minded. So Dave was like, no, you've got to use the stereo, I've got to use the US mix, it'll sound better on the radio, da-da-da-da. And then I gave a very impassioned speech about why it was important, that the feel of it was more important than the sonic.
Right.
And Bill listened to me and said, he's Scottish, and he said, Paul's right. We'll do the mono one, So it's gone down in history really as being this quirky kind of mono 12-inch only as well. There was no 7-inch. It was just a mad, with Bill Drummond in charge, So yeah, but that incandescent double comp you're talking about is my favorite thing really. It's a shame they only pressed a few thousand and they went, but that's it. We kind of nailed it. My vision for the band, we nailed on day one, which is probably why I'm a bit kind of reticent to keep going back in.
It's fantastic stuff, and I really started to. Well, after I heard more of that early stuff, I started to really warm up to it. I said, "Yeah, this is great stuff." One thing I noticed about the remix of Revolutionary Spirit versus the original is that in the remix, it sounds cleaner, but the piano seems to have been mixed out of it. Like I wasn't really hearing the piano very much, and the piano is an important part of this. I mean, it's crucial, I think. And that's down to one of the three members, Jed Quinn. I met him. He was working in a cafe, and someone told me he played the piano. We got talking, and so my friends at the time were all the Bunnymen, Julian Cope. We all had big record collections, and it was all the same stuff. It was all Patti Smith and television, and Captain Beefheart and
Peru, the suicide, all that stuff. But Jed didn't have any of that. He only had classical albums. It was all Mahler and Wagner and things. And I was fascinated. Yeah, I was fascinated by this. But that's what. So when we formed the band, that's what he was bringing to it. He was bringing a sort of a melodic thing influenced by classical music, and so that's why in the second incarnation, the Bringing Home the Ashes, Space Flower, middle period of the band is lacking something for me, because Jed had left the group. We had no falling out. He wanted to pursue his art career, and it was exactly the right thing, because he's now a hugely famous fine artist. Whose work goes for £270,000 per canvas.
Well, God!
He did. Well, he's the artist who did if you've seen or Google it if you don't have it, the Wild Swans album, The Coldest Winter for 100 Years.
Okay.
And the single English Electric Lightning and Liquid Mercury. He painted those covers. They look like Dutch masters.
Wow.
He's an incredible. Yeah. So he did. There was no hard feelings because it was the right thing. But I missed that classical influence on the band, and I brought it back. I realized it was missing and brought it back for the Coldest Winter for 100 Years album. It's a lot more piano based.
Okay. And
I would again if I was working again, I'd certainly get Jed involved.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, Ducky, I can only see just about like this much of it, but what's your shirt say?
Oh well, it's my Wild Swan shirt, obviously. See,
it's the second era. It's the middle period. Wild Swans Mark II logo.
Yeah.
The original one was more linear, wasn't it, from the Mark I band?
Yeah. I think that logo looks best on a T-shirt. So this is the logo I wanted on the shirt.
That's the logo you see in the. We haven't talked about this yet, but the Wild Swans are very hugely popular in the Philippines. So when I play in the Philippines and sign autographs afterwards, for like 3 hours. That's how big we are. That's the not that exact one, because that's a handmade one, but there's a kind of that's a T-shirt I see more than any other,
Wow.
Yeah, it's a great logo, and hardly anybody knows what it is when I wear it, but
Good. I like that. I like there's nothing better than an obscure T-shirt, is there?
Yeah,
exactly.
My secret band crush here. That's right.
I think you might have a fan in him.
Oh.
I'm so honored to be able to talk to you like this.
It's my pleasure. It's lovely for me as well, guys.
You'd think we had done this before,
Weird.
You mentioned something a little while ago. Ducky was saying the incarnation of the Wild Swans that he was introduced to and became familiar with and all that. He was aware of you guys a little bit sooner than I was, because for me, it was the Sire appearances on 2 of the Sire compilations.
Yes, just say yes and just say duh.
Exactly. It was Melting Blue Delicious that was my first real taste of the Wild Swans, and you had me hooked. I mean, I was like, wow.
But that's a really weird introduction to the Wild Swans, though, because it's atypical of what we do and
I know.
did. That was me. So yeah, my heart was so broken by the dissolution of the Mark I band. When I decided to try again. Sorry, I'm getting it a bit skewed there. So when we recorded Bringing Home the Ashes, we reformed. Seymour Stein offered us a 2-album fixed deal. I mean, Sire Records, it was the holy grail of record labels, So we did Bringing Home the Ashes, and then I had a falling out with my longtime guitarist, writing partner, Jerry Kelly. So I made an album. I had no interest in the old obsessions of mine with the Wild Swans, the old influences. I just wanted nothing to do with it, and I'd become sort of a bit of a hermit. I wasn't leaving the house. I wasn't answering the phone. I was eating sweets, which I'd never done before in my life. I was eating sort of children's sweets, and it was some weird subconscious desire to return to innocence. And I was drawn to mostly British bubblegum pop, but with a little bit of American stuff in as well. So I was listening to, from America, the Lemon Pipers.
I love them.
Yeah, you know, Green Tambourine, which was a hit in the UK. So it was, you know, it's almost like Sugar Sugar by the Archies, but on drugs, you know.
Yeah.
Slightly less saccharine and a little bit more opiated, you know.
I love that album for the simple fact that you put it on at the very beginning, and when Sea of Tranquility ends at the very end, you feel so sugary sweet, just totally but totally infused with this amazing it's a throwback to the whole like 60s psychedelia, but that bubblegum pop, and it's like you guys totally captured it. So for me, being a music fan and a DJ even at that point already, it was incorporated into my sets on a regular basis.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you're the one that played it.
Yeah, that would be me. And there was a St. Petersburg mix that was just like okay. Was that a sore subject?
No, that was Bill Drummond again. So Bill Drummond had come back into my life. I did my first ever record with him with the TEARDROP Explodes, and Revolutionary Spirit was Bill Drummond. Then he left my life for years, and then he came back. The KLF were kind of happening in the UK, or just starting to, and a lot of the old Zoo Records gang, they didn't like what Bill was doing, and they were very vocal about it in the press. They didn't like the dance scene that Bill was involved in. But I saw some real kind of brilliance in it. So I wrote to Bill and said, I think it's brilliant, this thing you've done, this new thing you've done. So we sort of got in touch again. And then Seymour asked he wanted some mixes, but Melting Blue Delicious was going to be a single release.
Okay.
So he asked Bill to do some mixes. So he did those mixes. I can't remember which is which now. One of them's just got kind of tube trains, hasn't it? It's just got like New York subway train.
That's the one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but which was not the brief at all, because we wanted to get it on the radio. So yeah, but that album ended up not getting released in the UK for 18 years. So because I was based in the UK, that was so damaging to me, because I put all this effort into it.
Right.
But again, that album really splits Wild Swans fans down the middle. Some people can't stand it. But some people just don't like it at all. They just don't know. They think I'd gone mad. And I think perhaps I had a little bit.
It is completely different, except for, and I mentioned this last time, except for one song, Immaculate, which sounds quite a bit.
Yeah, I think I was one song short, actually, for Space Flower, and that was something I'd been working on before me and Jam had split. Yeah, and I tried writing new words for it, and they didn't work. It lost its beauty somehow. So that Space Flower, the whole album is an anomaly in the Wild Swans canon, and then Immaculate is an anomaly within Space Flower because it doesn't fit in with the saccharine kind of bubblegum hooker pipe Alice in Wonderland thing that's going on at all. But somehow, I don't know, in the midst of time, it all sort of balances out and makes a kind of weird sort of nonsense sense.
It definitely has its place in music history for sure. One thing that I had mentioned when we spoke last time is that I can see your influence on more not current necessarily, but younger artists. And I think I used Brett Anderson of Suede, or the London Suede, as an example. That there are definitely qualities in Brett's style that are a total nod to you, I believe. And
I can't comment really on that. I mean, I really like the early Suede stuff when they came out, but it's probably I mean, I'd be amazed if he'd even heard my stuff, because it never got. It got a lot of college radio play in America, but it got no radio play in the UK virtually at all. But he possibly. I think it's more likely if there's a correlation between him and myself, it's probably a shared love of Bowie.
Okay.
And although it's more apparent in Brett's voice than mine, like I've never consciously copied Bowie except his close mic sound that he used on Low.
Okay.
On the Berlin trilogy, he started singing in a different, very kind of close to the mic way that I found very attractive. And it suited my voice better than that. So my voice on the early Wild Swan stuff, although that music is my favorite, my voice is pretty shocking on the early stuff because it's strained. I had no idea about technique. So I'm just, go on for me. So it sounds like a dog being strangled,
But the rock passion is more than evident, and that's what really drives that early.
Well, it's a young man's kind of passion, isn't it? It's a late teenager's sort of passion, or a early 20s, haunted, lovelorn, doomed romantic passion.
Oh my God. I'm glad that you brought that up, because one thing that I've thought about, and I've thought about it recently for some reason, and I don't know why, when an artist, especially very early on in their career, composes any music or composes a song that really stretches their vocal range, and especially usually towards the higher end, I've thought, how hard has that got to be to achieve again years down the road when they've hit that 20-year cycle or that 40-year cycle of popularity, and now they're like on these retro tours trying to belt that same high pitched or that high vocal out. I would think that's got to be right.
Yeah, well, it happened to me last time I went to the Philippines in when was it now? I think again that was 2019.
Okay.
Pre-COVID, and so in the Philippines we're considered a big band, and they call me Sir Paul because they didn't understand the English irony. So I used to do a sort of blog online, and I was being sarcastic, talking about riding my horse around my country estate. And they took it literally. And when I go on the radio in the Philippines, I always get asked, "How is your horse? What's your horse called?" And always, I don't have a horse.
Country estate and a horse.
Yeah, but my promoter out there, Jesse Cambosa, he said, "Oh, Paul, when you come back, you must play the hits." Well, the Wild Swans haven't really had any hits, as far as I'm aware. But in the Philippines, he said, all of Bringing Home the Ashes, all the Space Rail, every track is on the radio all the time, and has been all through the 80s, 90s, and noughties.
Wow.
So you must play them. So I didn't want to go, I felt quite bad, but I made him change the name of the event, because he was calling it a kind of back to the 80s. And I won't do those events because I've made music in every decade,
right?
Not just the 80s, and it's sort of, I feel diminished by that bracket of being. It's like you passe and you're just gonna sort of. So the first time I went out to the Philippines in 2011, I didn't play the hits. I played the new album I just recorded.
Okay.
I mean, they were very polite, but you could tell they were disappointed because they wanted me to play the hits. So when I went back, I realized, okay, that's not fair. This is quite a poor country. The tickets are expensive. I'm going to give them what they want. So I did. So consequently, I had to sing some songs I hadn't sung in 20 years,
Really?
25 years. And I said to Jesse, hey, look, I'm getting old now. What if I forget the words? And he said this brilliant thing. He said, you might forget them, but the audience will. He said, if you go blank, hold your microphone up. Lo and behold,
Yeah.
6,000 people singing the lyrics back, no perfect. What I found was, I work quite hard. I only go back every 2 or 3 years to the Philippines.
Okay. But
I train for it. I jog, I go to the gym, because no one wants to. Here's an example. So when I was a young man, I was obsessed by David Bowie and Roxy Music. And I saw Roxy Music at the age of 14. It blew my mind.
wow.
And then I got a chance to see them again in about 2000. I don't know what it was, maybe 2008.
Really? Okay.
They came back, the full lineup, and I saw them in a big Enormo Dome in Manchester. And they were fantastic, but Brian's voice was changed, should we say, to be kind.
Okay.
Age had caught up on it.
Okay.
And it was still amazing. I'm not criticizing it. You can't help that. But I'm very much aware that I don't want that contrast and compare thing with people who've grown up listening to me, and I don't want to give them anything less than a great performance. So I really, really, really train hard. I do singing exercises, which I hate, just to get that diaphragm and that power back. Because I'd rather not do it than disappoint people.
Right.
Anyway, bless him. Jesse changed the name of the thing to something like Rewind, and I thought that's fine because it's broad enough, it's vague enough.
Right.
Just don't put me in that parenthesis of 80s.
Yeah, because that's not a good box to be in necessarily. I mean, yeah, it's it's nostalgic and all that, but when you're shoved into that kind of category, I don't think you ever escape that category. Whereas you've got artists that got their start back in 1979, 1980 that are still going strong today. Depeche Mode being one of the leaders. And they're major bands, but a band at my level, you've got to be careful because you're only as credible as the least credible artist on the bill on those nostalgia tours. Mm-hmm.
And they tend to, what happens when we get older, our discernment sometimes slips. So you'll get a very credible band jammed on the bill with someone that was, I can't think of an example. I wouldn't want to use one, to be honest, because it'd be ungenerous of me, wouldn't it? But you'd get a kind of, this is an imaginary kind of lineup, but you'd have a sort of New Order in the middle with Aha headlining.
Right.
I don't know. Did you get that? You know what I mean? And that is happening. You're seeing this on those nostalgia festivals are huge now in the UK, particularly in summer, and you're getting very credible bands at the lower, coming on early in the afternoon. And there's some bands that we wouldn't have given, record shelf space to headlining. And I'm amazed they do it, but, people,
I was going to say, when you've got the Escape Club on the same bill as like Spandau Ballet or, and just as an example,
Yeah, there's a lot of it going on. And I get it, even people have, when you're a young man, you do it because you're unhappy. You make rock and roll, you make music because you're unhappy when you're not doing that. And as you get older, you have kids, and then some of us, not me yet, but have grandchildren, and you've got mortgages, and you've got kids to put through college and stuff. So you can understand why the appeal is there for bands to reform and go back out on getting any gigs they possibly can, that paying okay. And that's, so it's just, I so far I haven't been offered any of those, and it might, I might, you know, if someone offers me something fantastic, but I quite like supporting. I'd quite like to support a major kind of credible band. I wouldn't have any problem with that. My ego would completely allow that, because I'm at a funny level. I'm not household name. I'm a kind of post-punk. I was a cult sort of figure in the UK. So last year I wrote just at the end of last year, I think it was December the 5th last year, I wrote a memoir called Revolutionary Spirit, which was the title. This was, and it's done very well in the UK. It's doing okay in America. It's not. It's you can order it in the shops in America, but it's not on the bookshelves. You know, they don't have 20 copies like they do in the UK. Okay. But since that came out, I got some great reviews for it, and some features in the news. You know, the quality music press over here, and the regular press. My profile's gone up quite a lot, which is nice, you know. But you know, I'd love to play in America. You know, the Wild Swans never got to America. We signed to Sire Records. We were with them for about 4 years, 2 albums, and we were the most requested UK band to visit on K-Rock, and you know, we were hammered on college radio. We were always in the top sort of, you know, the list on college radio, but Seymour never took us out there, and I think that was because we were signed direct to him.
Okay.
Which was a mistake, really, because Sire in the UK was just a kind of one guy in an office in the Warner Brothers building. Wow. So we were kind of a little bit. We got a good. Seymour gave us a good launch in America, but we needed to get out there to capitalize on it, and it never happened. And I'm just hoping, like REM or someone. I've got a secret fan out there who gives me a nice easy gig to come and do a 25-minute opening slot. You know.
Hey, you just said something. Actually, we're looking at just a little over 5 minutes. So first of all, yeah, but before anything happens or before we're done here, there again, Paul, thank you so much for putting time aside with us today.
It's a pleasure.
And just to let you know, obviously, because this does happen, anytime down the road that you've got a project going on or you just want to chat or whatever, the door's always open. So
thank you guys. Yeah.
So what does I'm sorry, Ducky, what was that?
Well, actually, when Paul, when you were talking about you know, touring and gigs and stuff, I was going to say, is there a chance in hell that you will ever come to Seattle and play?
Yeah, it's just, if a promoter can sort of make it viable, I'm up for it. I used to hate playing live, but I actually exercised that thing in me in the Philippines last time I went. I embraced it and thoroughly enjoyed it, and I kind of realized I'd been fighting the rock and roll kind of frontman thing my whole career, because I thought it was corny. I thought it was too obvious and stuff. I kind of embraced it a bit, and I realized the power of it. That you can kind of manipulate it. Not manipulate, so it sounds like a negative. But you can enchant an audience and make them come alive. They just need permission, you know. I did it in the Philippines, and so you know, I haven't played live since.
Yeah. Really?
But
Okay.
I hope you can come to Seattle and enchant us. And if you come, I will get as many people as I can to come along with me.
I'd love. Seriously, I'd love to. It's just, I don't have a manager. I'm a kind of night. I'm a nightmare in many ways, but yeah, I would love to. I would love to do. I would love to tour North America. It'd be amazing.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well,
Yeah, I
here's
know
how-
you'd have. I know you would have a good turnout. That's for sure.
Darren, can I just be telepathic for a minute? I think you were gonna ask me what I'm up to.
Yeah. What are you up to in 2025? What does it look like?
I've taken this year off and a little bit of last year to write a novel. I'm writing a kind of a Dennis Wheatley-esque kind of Ira Levin psychological horror novel, and I'm about 3/4 of the way through. And I think it's genuinely original. Which is hard when you're writing in the kind of horror genre to write anything original. But I think I've managed it, and so I've got an agent who's going to take that to publishers to get me a deal. Yeah,
Nice.
That sounds very intriguing. I'll be all over that, man.
So that would be 2 books. That would be 2 books by you that I need to get my hands on then.
Yes.
Yep, your bio and your horror novel. Yeah.
Exactly. Before we close, because it's rapidly approaching, Paul, are there any shout outs that you would like to do? First of all, before I go any further, Bill Drummond, you rock. I just love hearing when I'm talking with an artist that we're just kind of getting to meet, when a name is mentioned, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's like, and I just get this whole like, he knows him, and anyway, yeah, it's that little 12-year-old schoolgirl inside of me that just wow.
Well, shout outs, Ricky Maney from the Brian Jonestown Massacre, who also plays in the Wild Swans, is in Dublin. Is it next week or the week after next? I think it's next week, so I'm going to hook up with him. I haven't seen him in a couple of years, so that'll be nice. Yeah, just hello to any American fans from back in the day. It's lovely to communicate directly with you. And thank you guys for doing this and persevering despite the technical issues we encountered.
Thank you so much for making time again for us.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I'm in Dublin. I'm on Dublin time. It's a lot sleepier and quieter here.
Luckily enough, I mean, because when I messaged you, I was just like, oh Lord, I can't believe I have to even say this. One thing about when you do these interviews, anything can happen. Whether it's something in the time difference and a lot of times there is a major time difference because the bulk of our special guests have all been usually UK artists or somewhere, or either that or else they're residing in like Europe somewhere now and all that. And so, there's 100 things, like I said, that can go wrong. And I was just mortified. I need to look for it.
Good. Well, it worked out in the end, didn't it? We did it.
Like old pros, and I'm kind of bummed but actually the next time that we talk, I want to just touch a little bit on the Teardrop Explodes.
We didn't get time.
We didn't. Let me ask real quick. I'm bringing them up. Were you with the band during the Wilder period?
No, I'd left. I started the band with Julian and named them. I came up with the name of Teardrop Explodes. I did the first EP, and then I decided I wanted to be a frontman myself. Okay. I was the keyboard player in the early Teardrops, but I was at the Wilder sessions. I was at the Kilimanjaro and the Wilder sessions because Julie and I were friends, so I was still hanging around. Yeah, I
love the Wilder album. That was my introduction to Teardrop Explodes, and I used to play that thing over and over and over and over. Go figure. Hey, and go figure. Before you know it, the time is done, and gosh darn it, guys, I got to say thank you so much for tuning in today. It's been an awesome hour with Paul Simpson of the Wild Swans and CARE, and obviously other projects as well. So he's got stuff out there that you definitely need to check into. Revolutionary Spirit is available through, did you say like Amazon or one of the probably online book publishing houses?
Yeah, it's you can get it through Amazon for sure.
Okay. So Revolutionary Spirit.
Yeah. Barnes and Noble, I think, as well, maybe.
Okay. Well, and Barnes and Noble has nice cookies there too. So you can go get Revolutionary Spirit and yourself some cookies. So anyway, check that out. Is there an online website or online anywhere that you're?
Yeah. I don't run it. A friend of mine does. There's a paulsimpson.co.uk.
Okay.
What that has got, it's got a fantastic archive of every release, anything I've ever even looked at. Okay. There's obscure kind of 12-inch mixes from the Philippines on there with all the artwork and everything. And listen to stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So that's paulsimpson.co.uk.
Co.uk, yeah, co.uk. It's run by a guy called Russ Sanders, who's a good friend of mine, and he's obsessive.
Thanks, Russ.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's see. Well, you know what? With that being said, I think we have reached the end. Paul, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Cheers, Ducky. Cheers.
And Ducky, thank you. I'm glad you were able to be here with us.
Oh, could not have missed it for the world. Wouldn't have.
Well, and I know because you would have been
absolutely chuffed. I am. Overjoyed, raptured. Yep.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these messages. You are watching the Groove Zone KONVOS and listening to us on X5 Radio. I'm DJ D Phoenix on behalf of DJ Ducky and Paul Simpson. Rock and roll. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Ta-da!
Hey,
I'm going to press a button. It's going to say the recording. That's what's going to happen. Man, thank you so much. And I will actually, the next time that we communicate, there will be a link to this for you so you can check it out. So,
great. Okay. Yeah, I'll put it up on my social media and stuff.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
And like I said before, doors always open to you. So anytime.
Oh, bless you. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Have a great day. I'm going to go make something to eat and go to bed early, probably.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Talk to you soon, guys.